So Leicester City have scumbagged their way out of points deduction, but Forest and Everton got screwed over. Welcome to your latest news. Good morning, good evening, or good night. Hope you guys are doing well, and welcome to your latest Forest-ish news. We got to talk about this Leicester thing because it's an absolute joke that Forest and Everton get screwed over. If you haven't already, please don't forget to hit the like button. Subscribe to Forest Fan TV if you are new. Make sure you check out the latest Forest prize on Football Prizes, where you can win a signed Forest away kit from this season, signed by loads of the players. But it's a double chance, because if you hit ticket number 100, you instantly win the home kit, and you're still in the prize for the away kit as well. So scan the QR code or click on the link that's pinned in the comments. And let's get into this news. So, for those of you who haven't heard, or those of you who are still piecing all the jigsaw bits together, Leicester have scumbagged their way out of a points deduction this season. Now, I think the best thing to do is to start off by aligning what charge this is. So if you remember back to last season, Everton got charged, then Forest got charged, then Everton got charged again. Everton's first charge was for the previous year, the year that Leicester, Southampton and Leeds got relegated. And the charge chucked at Leicester from the Premier League was in line with that season, just so we all know the time frames we're talking about. And Leicester breached their net spend was 129 and a bit million, which is about 24.4 million over the 105 allowance. So they breached. There's no two ways about it. And what did they do? They panicked. And who did they call in? Forest boy Nick DeMarco. And he comes in and he just sits there reading through the rules line by line, because black and white, Leicester breached. There's no hiding it, denying it, or anything like that. So he's reading by line. In the background, he's rewatching the old O.J. Simpson case, where O.J.'s allegedly committed whatever sin he did. He then gets into a car, runs around on the streets in a TV chase, ends up in court, and he says, or his lawyer says, if the glove don't fit, you must acquit. And that must have sparked a light bulb moment in Nick DeMarco's mind, because he's there like, my clients are guilty as charged. I have to get them out on a technicality. And eventually he finds the technicality. And the technicality is that when Leicester were charged, they were not a Premier League club. And therefore, they've ended up in this nomad position. A bit like Jax did when he quit from the Sons of Anarchy, went nomad, had no home, so couldn't be charged with anything. And this is absolutely pathetic, because what they're saying is Leicester weren't really a Premier League club, technically about to join back into the Championship, and therefore the Premier League can't charge them. It reminds me a bit of if someone committed a murder here in the UK, panics, legs it to Colombia because there's no extradition charges there, and they just chill there in Colombia, aka the Championship. Let the heat come off them a bit for a few months, and then they put in a call to a certain hitman who finds the eyewitness to this, and suddenly that eyewitness goes missing. And then they come back pompously on the plane back into the UK, and they're like, you can't charge us. Where's your witness? It's all these kind of analogies that do come to mind when you see what's done. And the integrity of the rules is absolutely in the mud right now. The fact that Forest could be charged when they spent 2 of the seasons in the Championship and 1 in the Premier League, yet Leicester spent 3 of those seasons in the Premier League and technically 2 days in the Championship, how the hell is there any consistency at all in this procedure? And who are these 3 impartial judges that were there, or lawyers that were there? Do we know who they supported? Did they have blue shirts on underneath them? It's just a complete mess. Now, had Leicester been found guilty, their punishment, according to our mate Kieran Maguire, would have been at least 7 points. 3 for breaching, and then a point for every 6.5 million they've breached by. However, it would have been higher than that because they would have been thrown non-compliance by the Premier League. They would have been thrown the whole not, presenting their books and all this stuff at it. So you would have probably been looking to somewhere between 9 and 11 points, at least, on this charge. So they've got away with it big time, even though they broke the rules. And for me, this shows the inconsistency in the process. And I do blame the Premier League. The Premier League are clearly corrupt. They've clearly got an agenda against Everton and Forest. But Leicester have managed to scumbag their way through this. It's absolutely pathetic. Now, I don't technically care that Leicester have got away with it. Let's get this straight, okay? I want consistency. I want these rules to either be implemented across all 20 teams or none at all. And these little bits of cracks that they find in the paving, this is not acceptable. And the Premier League need to be held to account as to how they've allowed this. It's an absolute joke. It's a joke, and it makes a mockery of the whole league. And the other reason I don't care is because the Leicester fans are now celebrating. Spend what we want. I mean, Leicester, we've been there, done it. We took our points and still stayed up. And that's the key thing. We stayed up even though we got hit with points. Your problem is you have Steve Cooper, the guy who only wins 1 away match a season on average in the Premier League. The guy who plays low block football. The guy who has no credit line with Leicester like he did at Forest. And you might as well have taken these points deduction, because at least then it would have given him a viable excuse as to why Leicester are heading back to the Championship. Right now, he has nothing to hide behind. And you and him and your team will be exposed as the season goes on. And you get woken up to the absolute turgid football that you'll be seeing on the pitch. The only thing this points deduction has done is potentially save Leicester from breaking Derby's record. And that's still up for debate, in my opinion. So, Leicester will survive. Now, will they get more points deductions coming up this season? Now, all these reports are saying that's it, they're fine for the rest of the year. I don't know how they know that, because no one's seen the books yet. The accounts that closed in this June, they won't be revealed or submitted till towards the end of this calendar year. And then you see the expedited process again, as we saw with Everton and Forest last year. But there's still one thing that hasn't been covered off. There's still those 3 numbers that are floating around that are just slowly meandering. And that is 115. Manchester City. Now that these loopholes have been exposed, it's almost inevitable that Manchester City will find something with the 6 million lawyers they've hired. And if Manchester City get away with this, and Leicester have got away with it, and Chelsea get away with buying their own hotels, then why the hell were Forest and Everton targeted? That's the question we need answers to. Get your thoughts in down below. I'm dying to hear what you guys think about all of this. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and we'll see you on the next video. Come on, you Reds.